For our final remarks of the day, I would like to introduce Ana Alvarez Boyd, Senior Associate Director at the Division of Consumer and Community Affairs here at the Federal Reserve Board.
Thank you, Jennifer. This event has been 2 years in the making as the pandemic overtook our best laid plans. But what a remarkable day of thoughtful dialogue on the role of women in our economy. I really want to applaud everyone that has had a part in making this happen. Many thanks to each of you for being with us, but special congratulations to the organizers and the speakers. And I need to shout out to so many members of my team, Angelique Campbell for her vision and leadership, Jennifer Fernandez for developing this tremendous agenda, Kirsten Noland and John Roger for their exceptional logistics management, the amazing talent on the division's communications team, Carolyn Welch, Vijay Palaparti, Emily Hirschman, Marcus Shorter, and Brant Andrews, the technology team at the FRB in St. Louis's Center for Learning and Innovation, and our Federal Reserve Board partners in web services, public affairs, digital media, all who made offering this conference fully virtual and made it possible. Thank you all. So today you heard our speakers define and underscore the important role that women play in the economy. They offered solutions for us to ponder and they challenged us to do better. So what can we do as individuals? How do we process and respond as individuals to support and advance women facing these challenges in unique ways? What matters most to create opportunities that are equitable and flexible to ensure that we all benefit at micro and macro levels from the considerable contributions that women bring to our economy, policies, businesses, communities, and families? I want to start with a story about the power of community support. It's a story from my own career journey. So imagine it is December 27th, 1997, and I am waiting for a moving van to deliver furniture to our empty house in Silver Spring, Maryland. My daughters are 3 and 18 months old, and they are completely oblivious to the reality that my husband and I just moved our family from the San Francisco Bay areas to the suburbs of Washington, D.C. I had accepted a job as manager of the first community development team established at the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. And I had made the really difficult decision to move away from any family support with our young children. As I stood at the window watching the moving van, waiting for it to come, it started to snow. Now, I grew up in San Francisco. In December of 1997, I had no idea what to make of snow. So I started to cry, completely overwhelmed by the immense risk I had just taken with my family. But not 10 minutes later, a neighbor knocked on the door. Mary Ann showed up with a hot meal, all the utensils, and we had a picnic on the living room floor that day. It filled me with faith about the future. And I also learned a really important lesson about the power of showing up in support of other women, a lesson that has stayed with me throughout my career. So the lesson is about resilience at its core, and that resilience starts with connection. Our communities and professional networks, our support, our lifelines. The pandemic made clear that investing in strategies that support resilience yields the best return on investment at both individual and community levels. I recently had the opportunity to speak with the center director of Orlando Day Nursery, one of the oldest daycare institutions in Central Florida. They're celebrating 100 years this year. We spoke about the effects of the pandemic on their community and how the women managed the crisis. The women at Orlando Day relied on community support and on one another. Liz Franke shared that while the world stopped for everyone else, it can't stop for low-income women. They had to figure it out. There were mouths to feed. The November issue of Community and Consumer Context, released with this conference, includes an article on childcare disruptions and mothers' availability to work. You heard a lot about that in today's conference. You also heard Chair Powell share that the 2020 survey of household economics and decision-making found that many mothers who were not working or working less because of childcare or schooling disruptions faced substantial financial difficulties. At Orlando Day Nursery, the pandemic created immediate stress on their ecosystem, but their strong community ties helped them overcome that fragility. As families struggled to get access to food and hygiene supplies, the leadership of Orlando Day Nursery accessed a contractor to deliver supplies to their parking lot. As restaurants closed, a local farm donated everything that they harvested to the families in the community. The mothers of the Orlando Day community are emerging from the pandemic, just like all of us. They're rethinking their priorities and they're thinking about what's next. Many families started their own businesses to fill the wage gap. There is more need for scholarship assistance and mental health services. And through it all, they are finding ways to promote and support their community. I think resilience is local. The connections that we create and nurture support a healthy economy. So how do we think about connection in the workplace? Throughout my career, I've enjoyed the benefit of mentorship and sponsorship from many smart, powerful colleagues. I learned how to take my place at the table from great leaders who took the time to support and coach me. Every time out for a coffee offered me the opportunity to ask a question that I really couldn't ask anywhere else. I received honest, helpful feedback and the support to process that feedback and do better. Mentoring and sponsoring women is an investment with an enormous payoff. A study by Cornell University School of Industrial and Labor Relations found that mentoring programs dramatically improved promotion and retention rates for minorities and women, 15 to 38% as compared to non-mentored employees. Formal mentoring programs are effective, but so are the informal conversations that build confidence and a sense of belonging. It is my strong belief that mentoring and sponsoring women will go a long way towards building a resilient workforce. My call to action to you is to take the time for that virtual coffee with a woman in your workplace. Maybe you'll even have the chance to do it in person very soon. Have coffee with that woman in your network, in your community, the one that you've been meaning to reach out to. Put it on your calendar. Create the space to invest in resilience. It is my hope that this day of thought leadership leaves you inspired and renewed, sparking new ideas for policies and practices that we can all embrace to emerge from the pandemic stronger and more aware of how essential we are to each other's success. In many ways, the pandemic was a call to action, and many people and institutions responded to it. Let's all commit to each other and to adopt the best of those responses and sustain them to create a better place for women to thrive along with our economy. As you ponder what you've heard here today, I encourage you to identify one thing you will do to support and invest in the women in your networks, in your community, in your workplace. Thank you all for being here with us. We value your participation. Good night.